Hello, everyone. John Bruna here with the Daily Quote. Let's go ahead and jump right to it. All the world is full of suffering. It is also full of overcoming. Yeah, truly important to remember. And what a great resource Helen Keller is, and an example of overcoming. Right now, we have some difficult times here in the United States. As I'm recording this, we have a trade war coming. We have a transition in government. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's uh, unclear, unclear as to what will happen in many different ways, and a lot of suffering, a lot of emotional, mental stress, worry, and fear. And in general, we've got some wars going on and people worrying about just getting their basic needs met. A lot of suffering. It's important to recognize that, in fact, this is always the case since even before civilizations were grown and created, there has always been uncertainty. There's always been struggles. There's been lots of changes in governments and countries and boundaries and the way that people get their needs met, illness, injury, and so forth. Doesn't sound like a pep talk, does it? But in truth, it's just always been this way. We have been fortunate to live in most of our lives in ways that we're not confronted with strong visceral suffering much of the time. We've all overcome some tragedies, health issues, financial insecurities, and so forth. And it's interesting how our mind can really focus on those things and miss that we've actually survived every single struggle that's ever come our way. We're here right now. We've survived, we've overcome. And Helen Keller's message is the world's full of overcoming. Think about history, and I happen to have been a history teacher, and wars, genocides, changes in governments, well, pandemics, which we're actually very used to right now. All these have come and gone, and we're still here. Overcoming, that is actually the predominant force. Yes, there's always suffering, but there's also overcoming and growth and opportunity. So the inspiration today, I think, is so important as we engage in this time of transition and a very clear understanding of uncertainty. In truth, uncertainty is always there. It just doesn't seem so obvious. And there's a constant state of overcoming. And yes, overcoming may not look the way we want it to look. And therein lies a lot of suffering, wanting things to turn out the way we feel they should turn out. That's the source of a lot of suffering. It's important to remember that many things turn out in ways we don't think are healthy or meaningful, but that often leads to other things that show up and improve. There's a pendulum, there's suffering and struggle, and then overcoming, healing. So, in this journey of life in our current times, it's probably pretty healthy to recognize that, yeah, things are maybe not the way we think they should be, but things unfold on a much bigger scale than our immediate awareness and often create conditions for opportunities we've never even imagined. It's kind of been the way of our history. Go all the way back to the Great Recession and then the programs that came out of that. And then people get comfortable, they start doing some pretty unhealthy things. We fall into some disarray and then things pop back. And I kind of liken it to wounds in our bodies, that scratch. Matter of fact, tore up my finger the other day, and it is healing. So I hope you find this inspiring. I'm inspired by people like Helen Keller and the truth of things that we've already overcome everything that's come our way. We have a 100% success rate. And while overcoming may not look the way we think it should, there might be some real unexpected, well, potentials ripening. But it often has to begin with some pain. That's how we tend to learn. So let's recognize the struggle, but let's be empowered to know that we can overcome.